That's NDP leader Jack Layton from yesterday, I believe it was, in Quebec, talking about some of his policies that are helping the orange tide, the orange crush, roll across Quebec. He's siding up to soft nationalists, trying to get their votes. There, he was talking about extending Bill 101, the language laws of Quebec, to federally regulated businesses and institutions across Quebec. It's a controversial move for federalists to make, and one that even Liberals in Quebec say shouldn't be done. How it will play across the rest of the country, along with his promise to enforce Supreme Court judges to be bilingual, well, we're going to check in with political blogger Alex Tsakumis. Alex, good to speak to you from Vancouver today.
Pleasure.
Playing up to the Bloc Québécois, how popular will that be on the West Coast?
Not very popular at all. I think Layton's got some huge issues. This last-minute media honeymoon that he seems to be getting will not prove out well. In fact, this all started some time ago when he was trying to cut a deal with Gilles Duceppe, all while the Prime Minister is trying to reasonably handle the economy. You know, the carnival barkers like Layton always get a free ride, and it's unfortunate because someone at some point is going to have to call him to the mat on issues like this. I mean, what is he going to offer them next?
Well, I think that the NDP, to be fair to pretty much everyone involved in this, the NDP doesn't get the same amount of scrutiny normally because nobody expects them to form government, nobody expects them to form opposition. And there's very little, let's be clear here, there's very little talk, unfortunately, of platforms in an election campaign. There should be more, but let's look at this. He's now in Quebec and he's saying we'll support Quebec's language laws applying to federally regulated businesses like broadcasting and trucking. Those language laws not well loved across the rest of Quebec or across the rest of Canada, especially by former Quebecers that left because they're seen as draconian. And he's also said that if you're from BC, you better be fully bilingual, fluently bilingual, able to hear a Supreme Court case or you'll never be on the Supreme Court. Do you think those types of statements will hurt him in a province, your province, where he's doing pretty well?
I think they'll hurt him significantly. I think the up that the NDP are getting here and across the country is mostly going to result in bleeding off support from the left flank of the Liberal Party. And if you look at the polling and you consider that the polling is even possibly accurate, that's exactly what's happening. The Conservatives are still 10 points ahead.
Do you think it might mean more Conservatives elected because it'll split the left?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look at the Liberal numbers. They're losing from the left because of this NDP Promise Anything campaign, and they're losing their Conservatives on the right because Michael Ignatieff is just, he's sinking the party to the point where when I had previously commented and said that the Liberals had not lost badly enough, I think Ignatieff is going to actually deliver that. I think they'll get less seats than they did with Dion.
Well, I think what a lot of people in central Canada don't realize is how much of a regional party the Liberals have become over the last few elections. They hold a few seats in Atlantic Canada, they hold some seats in Montreal, they actually only hold 3 in all of Eastern Ontario. Then you hit Toronto, and then you can count on one hand the number of Liberals between London, Ontario, and Vancouver. Are they significant players in Vancouver, or is that shrinking as some of the BC politicians retire?
Well,
people like Keith Martin. I know Keith Martin's not Vancouver, but he's on Vancouver Island. But as people like that retire, Ujjal Dosanjh comes under attack. He barely squeaked out last time. Is it having an impact on whether they'll even have any seats in Vancouver?
Well, it's having a huge impact. They will get some seats, but even in Vancouver Centre, where Hedy Fry could talk about burning crosses and get away with it, and follow up on Libby Davies' comments, disgraceful comments that our gallant soldiers, men and women in uniform on the plains of hell, might have committed war crimes. That kind of rank insanity is coming back to bite them. Wei Young will beat Ujjal Dosanjh. Jennifer Clark is making great gains in Vancouver Centre on Hetty Fry. Joyce Murray is on the bubble in Vancouver Quadra. She recently tweeted about a gang fight that took place, gunplay, not too far from the Mayor of Vancouver's home, actually. She tweeted that she hoped that the participants were doing okay, without recognizing that the participants were not innocents. The participants were gang members. It's that kind of boneheaded messaging that let's talk about anything, let's promise everything, let's try and be everything to everybody. That's coming back to bite them. And Deb Meredith might beat her in Vancouver Quadra. So yes.
I want to ask you one last question, and it's about this rise of the NDP and how it might change things. Yesterday, two former NDP premiers who are now part of the Liberals, Ujjal Dosanjh, your former premier, Bob Rae, my former premier, the Liberals put out a press release from these two saying, no, you can't vote for the NDP. We know the NDP, and their promises can't be believed. That's why we're in the Liberals now. To me, it almost seemed as if they were saying, we know how bad NDP governments can be because we ran them, so vote for the Liberals.
Well, they're not wrong. I mean, if you want to know what a Jack Layton government, God save us, would be like, look at his position on CPP. He doesn't understand that Canadians want to keep their money and invest it for themselves. He wants to increase it, therefore forcing you into a position of letting more of your money go. He doesn't see it as a tax, because that's exactly what it is. It's a tax. Anytime the government takes money from you involuntarily, it's a tax.
Yeah.
And this is what Jack Layton is going to do. He is going to tax Canadians to death. And that's why I think this business that started with an Ecos poll just recently really is a tempest in a teapot. I think if there was an election tomorrow, although there are several days yet, if there was an election tomorrow, the Conservatives would be in about the 158 to 161 range, meaning that they'd have a majority.
Well,
so
you've heard his prediction here. We'll see if he's right in a week's time. Alex Tsakumis, thank you very much.